So in the last section, we made an API request to our backend Express server to get some data. In this section, I'll show you another way we can use Axios to make a request to a simulated server to get some data. And to help us with this, we'll be using JSON placeholder. This is a very well-known website for making simulated API requests, and this is what we'll be working with. And if you look through the JSON placeholder webpage, you can see there are many different types of data that you can request from this simulated server. And under routes, you can also see there are different HTTP methods that you can use, such as get, post, put, and delete. For now, we'll only be working with the get method, and we'll get posts from the simulated backend. So let's now go back to our editor and begin setting this up in code. We'll begin by replacing our /hello relative path with the HTTP JSON placeholder URL. And remember to add the /post. That's how JSON placeholder knows that we're requesting posts. And for now, we can just console.log the response. And we need to access it with data, so it will be rest.data, the same way that we used for our Express server. And if we save and see, we are seeing our post console.log to the browser. So it is working as expected. I'll also show you another way we can use Axios to make requests that you might find useful. And this is using Axios as an instance. So outside of our class, let's create a const called Axios instance and set it equal to axios.create and then parentheses, and then let's create a property called base URL. And the value of base URL is going to be the entire JSON placeholder URL without the /post. So we're basically saying whenever we make an Axios request, we automatically pass in this base URL. So we can use this base URL to do /post, /comments, whatever. We don't have to write the entire URL over again if we want to make a request to different relative paths of the entire JSON placeholder URL. And then in our component didMount method, we do axios instance.get. And remember, it's /post because that's the relative path that we want. And the rest of the code we can leave as is. And if we save and see the browser, we see it's still working. We're still getting all our posts that we did before. So this is just another way of using Axios. You can just you can just create an Axios instance and then pass in a entire base URL. And once you do that, you can just use the relative path in your Axios request.